Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Monday, May 15. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. The inaugural Jamaica Constabulary Force Expo showcased impressive technology and skills, leaving many attendees surprised and impressed. Patrons expressed their astonishment at the advanced technology displayed by the JCF, admitting they were unaware of the police force's capabilities. The expo highlighted how the Jamaica Constabulary Force's quality management systems and technology are transforming policing in Jamaica. Demonstrations included staged crime scenes, the use of drones and body cameras, facial recognition technology, and a smart system for electronic ticketing. Attendees commended the JCF's efforts and expressed optimism about the future safety and security of the country. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is visiting Jamaica for a 2-day working visit. Prime Minister Andrew Holness confirmed the visit, stating that they will be engaged in important discussions. The bilateral talks will cover various topics, including Jamaica's role in mediating the situation in Haiti and involving the international community. They will also address the impact of the climate crisis in the Caribbean and the midterm review of the global framework for disaster risk reduction. The discussions will also focus on Jamaica's leadership in global financial architecture reform, debt management, and access to technology and finance for sustainable development. Prime Minister Holness sees the visit as crucial and looks forward to productive discussions. On Friday, May 12, a British woman was arrested at the Sangsters International Airport in Montego Bay after over 5 kilograms of cocaine were discovered in her luggage. The woman, who was preparing to board a flight to London, had 5 packages of cocaine concealed in her luggage, with an estimated street value of over $28 million. Her identity has not been disclosed as investigations continue. This incident follows 2 separate incidents on Saturday, May 6, where British nationals were also apprehended with cocaine at the same airport. A search is on the way for 26-year-old Leroy Page, who went missing while carrying out in-driver services in Kingston and St. Andrew on Saturday, May 13th. He was last seen wearing a red shirt with black shorts. The police are urging anyone with information regarding his whereabouts to contact them. A man was shot and killed this morning on Pretoria Road in St. Andrew. The police were called to the scene about 7:30 a.m. after hearing gunshots, and upon arriving, they found the man lying in a pool of blood. He was taken to the hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. The St. Andrew South Police are investigating the incident. A man was fatally shot and a woman injured in a gun attack in Providence Heights, St. James on Sunday night. The couple was returning home from a Mother's Day event when they were attacked by gunmen while opening the door to their home. The deceased has been identified as 33-year-old Dwayne Crew. The woman was taken to the hospital for treatment. The police are investigating the incident. The police are investigating the shooting deaths of 3 unidentified men in the Mount Zion community of St. James. The bodies were discovered by motorists along the Mount Zion main road, who then alerted the police. The victims had gunshot wounds and did not possess any form of identification or cell phones. The killing of these men in the Rosal division is causing concern, as they do not appear to be from the area. Over the past 7 days, a total of 11 people have been murdered in St. James, including 2 double murders. 2 men have been arrested in connection with a double murder that occurred in Hopewell, Hanover. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers confirmed the arrest on Saturday and stated that the police are effectively addressing the situation, which originated from lottery scamming and developed into a rivalry between 2 gangs in the community. The incident last Sunday resulted in the shooting deaths of 2 women. Margarita Samuels and Shari Distin, and injuries to 2 other individuals. Additionally, a construction worker was killed in the same community on Friday. The police continue to investigate these cases. 2 separate incidents of fatal shootings occurred at markets in Highgate St. Mary and Linstead St. Catherine on Saturday. The victims have been identified as Shelton Watson and a woman known only as Marcia. Watson was shot and killed during shopping hours at the Highgate market when an armed man approached and opened fire. Another man was also injured in the incident. Marcia was shot and killed at her stall in the Linstead market. The details surrounding her death are unclear. The police are actively investigating both cases and searching for the perpetrators. On Saturday night, a man and a woman were shot and injured during an attack at a bar in the New Green community of Manchester. Reports are that about 8:45 p.m., a lone gunman approached the victims, who were among the patrons at a bar, and opened fire before fleeing the scene. The woman suffered gunshot wounds to the head. The New Green community has experienced an increase in violence in recent months. In a previous incident on March 3, a cook shop operator was killed and their husband injured while walking home from their shop. Residents of Mount Salem, St. James, are concerned that the Zone of Special Operations, ZOZO, which has been in place since 2017, is no longer protecting them from gang violence. Some residents believe that a big mistake was made in 2017 when the Zone of Special Operations was declared, and the entire community should have been locked down and searched. They believe that the troublemakers are back in the community, driving the violence. However, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang believes that the Zone of Special Operation has been successful despite the recent murders, which are primarily acts of reprisal by the remnants of gangs that have been displaced as part of the crime-fighting initiative. A construction worker from St. Catherine, Odane Pottinger, has been arrested and charged in connection with a robbery that took place last month along Litz Main Road in St. Elizabeth. Pottinger faces charges including robbery with aggravation, shooting with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. The incident involved 3 armed men who entered a bar, stealing $260,000, alcoholic beverages, and a cell phone. Law enforcement officers responded to the incident after hearing explosions and were fired upon by the perpetrators, who managed to escape. During a subsequent search of the area, a firearm, ammunition, a box containing $206,000, and alcoholic beverages were discovered in bushes. Labour and the Social Security Minister Karl Samuda has confirmed that he will be leaving the cabinet soon. Samuda stated that his departure should not come as a surprise, as he had previously indicated his intention to step down from his ministerial role at the midterm. The process of his departure began with a meeting with the Permanent Secretary and other members of the executive team. Samuda is now awaiting the official announcement from Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The 81-year-old minister cited his age as the reason for his decision to step down. He has served in the ministry for nearly 3 years. Detectives from the Criminal Investigations Branch in Port Antonio, Portland, are investigating the death of an elderly man whose burnt, decomposing body was found in bushes in the Spring Garden district in Buff Bay. The victim, identified as 62-year-old Joseph Powell, was a farmer from the area. A resident discovered his charred remains on Saturday morning and alerted the police. The body was in a state of decomposition and was processed at the scene before being taken to the morgue for a post-mortem examination. Powell was last seen on Thursday when he went to a nearby shop. The investigation is ongoing to determine the circumstances surrounding his death. A man who was initially detained for a wounding is now likely to be charged with murder after the woman he had a dispute with died in hospital. The incident took place in Lioneltown, Clarendon, where both the man and the victim resided. The deceased woman has been identified as 59-year-old Yvonne Reed, while the suspect is a 61-year-old farmer. The altercation, which turned physical, occurred on Friday over a disagreement about painting a wall. The woman was stabbed multiple times in her upper body with a knife. She was rushed to the hospital, but she succumbed to her injuries on Sunday morning. The suspect remains in police custody as investigations continue. In business, Jamaica's tourism minister Edmund Bartlett has announced that the country is leading the region in retaining US dollar earnings from tourism. The retention of foreign currency is a measure of the economic impact of tourism. Minister Bartlett stated that Jamaica has returned to 2019 levels of retention and expressed hopes for a further improvement. As of May 10, the country had welcomed over 1.5 million visitors, with provisional gross earnings surpassing $1.6 billion US dollars for the same period. The minister attributed the strong recovery of the tourism sector to strategic investments, resilience building, intensified marketing efforts, increased room capacity, and expanded airlift connectivity. In the region, the United States Coast Guard has clarified that the termination of the Title 42 Public Health Order does not change the maritime migration policies for the Caribbean and other migrants. The Coast Guard emphasized that the measure never applied to migrants apprehended at sea. They continue to monitor the situation to prevent misinformation or disinformation from encouraging increased attempts to reach the United States by sea. The Coast Guard, along with its task force partners, will maintain the rescue and repatriation of migrants attempting irregular entry by sea. They strongly advise individuals to pursue safe and lawful pathways for migration. Migrants intercepted at sea will be promptly repatriated, while those who reach U.S. shores will be subject to expedited removal. The task force is implementing plans to address irregular maritime migration in the Florida Straits and the Caribbean Sea, and migrants interdicted at sea after April 27, 2023 will be disqualified indefinitely from the parole processes announced earlier for Cubans and Asians. On the international scene, the World Health Organization (WHO) has released a new guideline on non-sugar sweeteners, or NSS, recommending against their use for weight control or reducing the risk of non-communicable diseases, NCDs. The guideline is based on a systematic review of evidence indicating that NSS do not provide long-term benefits in reducing body fat. The review also suggests potential adverse effects from prolonged NSS use, such as an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and mortality in adults. The WHO emphasizes the importance of reducing overall sweetness in the diet and suggests consuming foods with naturally occurring sugars or unsweetened options. The recommendation applies to all individuals except those with pre-existing diabetes and covers both synthetic and naturally occurring NSS. The guideline is considered conditional, allowing for country-specific considerations based on consumption patterns and age groups. And in sports, Arsenal's hope of winning the Premier League title are all but over after a 3-0 defeat to Brighton. With Manchester City winning their match and having a 4-point lead over Arsenal with a game in hand, they can now be crowned the champions if they win their next game against Chelsea. Arsenal only has 2 more games remaining and can achieve a maximum of 87 points, while City needs just 1 more victory to retain the title. Despite a promising first half, Arsenal could not capitalize on their chances, and Brighton's win keep their slim hopes of a top 4 finish alive. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment, and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Like the video before you go. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And remember to share the video with your friends and family. And browse the channel for more quality content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them!